discussing about the syllabus for class 11. Alright? And I told you basically we are preparing for 4 questions for the board exam. Alright? Now, we are taking up each one of them, and then we shall be practicing each of them, and before we go into that I shall be explaining how each one is practiced. Okay, so we shall take up each of them in detail. Now the question, 4th question for 25 marks I told you is a comprehension. Now let me explain to you what does this mean, comprehension. This is an exercise we have been doing from the smaller classes, but all this while we may not have been aware of what exactly comprehension is. Alright? So we have seen we have been given an unseen passage, and based on that a few questions are set. Okay? Now we have been doing that exercise. Now let us understand what exactly is the purpose of this comprehension exercise. Alright. Now comprehension is a word that comes from the root word to comprehend. Alright? To comprehend. That is the root word of a comprehension. Now, what does comprehend mean? Comprehend means to understand. Comprehend means to understand or to grasp. That's the meaning of to comprehend. So therefore, comprehension is an exercise. It is an exercise to people Alright. It is an exercise to assess the ability. What ability? Understanding ability. Alright? Understanding ability. The understanding ability. Alright? So it's basically a test. It's a test to check your understanding ability of a particular language. Alright? So comprehension is an exercise given or as a test to assess or to examine your understanding ability of a particular language. Is that clear? Okay. Now, therefore, since it's a test of your understanding ability of a language, we have a set pattern of testing your various skills. Alright? Various skills of a particular language. So comprehension means to test your understanding ability of a particular language. And that's why an unseen passage is given, an unseen piece of writing is given, and based on that a number of questions are set. Usually it will have about 2 or 3 types of questions. Alright, the first type would be a vocabulary test. Vocabulary. Now, in this particular passage that is given to you, certain words or phrases are underlined or highlighted or typed in bold, okay, or put in italics to mark it out, and then you are asked to find the meaning of it, or you are asked if you can give the meaning of this particular word or a phrase. So what is the vocabulary? Vocabulary is your word power. Your word power. Alright? We need vocabulary. The more vocabulary we have, the better language we can speak. Our fluency will improve, our exactness or preciseness of expressing something would improve, and therefore developing or improving your vocabulary is a very important aspect of learning a language. And there was one of my teachers, for instance, suggested to me that I should at least make sure that about 10 words are learned, 10 new words are learned each day, which is very wise advice, I believe, and which is very helpful. It's not too demanding, not too tiring. About 10 words, new words you learn each day, and then without you realizing it, you would have built up on your vocabulary. Alright? You would have increased your word power. Alright? Okay. So, a test of your vocabulary. So that is the first exercise. Now this can be given in a number of ways. You can be asked to give the meaning of a word or phrase or an expression directly. Alright. One of the ways of testing your vocabulary or your word power is by directly asking you to give the meaning of a particular word or phrase or an idiomatic expression that you find in the passage. See, I put this in the context of the passage. That is with a specific purpose. The purpose is because a word in English language can have more than one meanings. Alright? Out of context, it may carry another meaning. But in the context of this particular passage, what does this particular word mean? So that has to be stated. So one way of checking your vocabulary is asking you to give the meaning of a word taken out from the passage, a word extracted from the passage, or a phrase or an idiomatic expression taken out from the passage, and give the meaning of it directly. Okay. Just like you were doing it in class 10. In class 10, in your question paper, language paper, in the comprehension section, the first question was a vocabulary test in which you were asked to give the meaning of 3 words taken out from the given passage. Okay? So you give the meaning of these words in your own words. So that is simple, direct way of doing it. Okay. The meaning of the word directly. The second way is you are given a choice. Alright? You are given a choice. A multiple choice question. That means about 4 options are given for a particular word, and you are asked to select which you think is the best meaning for that particular word or a phrase. So you are given option A, B, C and D, let's say. Choose the nearest meaning for this particular word or a phrase or idiomatic expression that is extracted from the passage. So that is a multiple choice question. Okay. Next. So that is your second type. So this is more popular, especially in most of these competitive exams like JEE or NEET and so on, in which you have the time is limited, therefore you are asked, given this kind of question. So the answer is already there. All that you need to do is make a right choice. The word is given, the meanings are given, and which you think is the closest in meaning, you select that. Alright? So you tick the correct answer, that's it. You need not write it out. Or you circle the correct answer. Or a circle is given and then you darken or shade that answer which you think is the correct. So that's in competitive exams, this is the more popular pattern. And the third way of doing it is, the meaning is given and you are asked to pick or let's say find So that is the next way, that is the meaning is given to you and you are asked to find a word that has the closest meaning to the meaning that is given from the passage. So you pick out the word that carries this meaning, this particular meaning from the passage. And usually, when you are given this kind of choice, the first word will be found, the word and the meanings are given. 1, 2, 3, let's say 4. 4 words are given, and these 4 words, the first word shall appear first in sequence, the second word shall appear next in sequence, and the third shall appear next in sequence, and the fourth shall be the last to appear. Okay, so that is the way of finding the word, and then you start going to find out the meaning of the word from the beginning toward the end. And usually most of these words shall be found in the first 2 or 3 paragraphs. Okay, so that is the first exercise that you have, vocabulary exercise, testing your vocabulary. What's your word power? Okay, so that's the first exercise. Basically all these questions are set on a pyramidal structure. That means almost everyone shall be able to answer let's say about the first question, first word meaning everybody knows. And then there will be some that is meant for the average. And then another meant for the better ones, and one meant for the best. Okay, so if there are 4 questions, the best shall be able to answer all 4, and the better ones shall find correct answers 3 at least, and the average shall find about 2, and let's say the bottom liners shall be able to attempt at least 2 of those questions, 1 of those questions. So that is the way the difficulty level it is called. So the questions are arranged according to difficulty level. Okay, that's the first exercise. Then we have the next, that's the short answers. A set of questions are given, for which you are expected to give answer in your own words. In your own words, that's very important. You do not copy the words ditto from the passage. Just like there are some students who just bracket off a line or 2 and then copy it out into your answer sheet. That's not the proper way. The instruction is very clear that write it in your own words. That is to know whether you have understood what is said in the passage, and are you able to reproduce it in your own words. And that's the reason why that particular instruction is given, that answer in your own words, not the words of the writer. Okay, so that is important. So that is a test to know whether you have understood the ideas expressed in the passage, and are you able to, once you have grasped it, are you able to reproduce it in writing in your own way, in your own words. Understood? You should be able to express it in your own words. So that's a test of your knowledge, a set of questions which requires maybe 1 sentence, 2 sentences, or maximum of 3 sentence answers. Alright? So they are brief answers. And you just look at the question, the marks that are awarded, like for instance, if it carries only 1 mark, definitely it shouldn't be, the answer should not be longer than a sentence.